Hello YouTube. Take a quick look here at the patch notes for 2.4 closed beta here. And there's a lot to get to. Hopefully this is clear enough on stream. I'll go ahead and put it up to 150%. So then it should be readable. But new content and features for Horizons. Hollow Me save slots. Or slave slots. This will allow us to have up to how many, at least different commander appearances. I like this. I like this a lot because then I can have my Commander Adama and then Grand Moff Tarkin and a couple of other characters and that you can kind of, I guess, change on demand depending, I guess, what you're doing. So if you wanted to have your trader, space trucker, Bob the space trucker with a space trucker hat, and then Bill the bounty hunter, Paul the pirate, whatnot. 12 new hairstyles, that's always nice. Added slots for eyewear and outfits, probably more cosmetics to purchase down the line. Synthesis can now create heat sinks, chaff, limpets, and top-off life support. Hallelujah. It'll be very interesting to see how this plays out, because now, before, like on my cutter, I have to run multiple heat sinks. I may still end up doing so because between shield cell banks and just the fact that the weapons I like to put on there tend to like to overheat it, that'll be very, very useful. I still may pack 2 heat sinks, but then I'll be able to recharge one while the other one still has ammunition. Chaff, I very rarely ever run out of chaff, but if I do, I mean, there's no reason. Well, I guess the only reason to double chaff now would be to keep up a continuous stream of chaff against people using gimbaled weapons and NPCs. And limpets can be replicated. This, I have to agree, I don't know what the costs are yet. I've seen some complaints about the costs are too high. And you can top off life support. I don't know about that one. I think being able to pop magic pills to fix everything in the ship and everything. I think the best balanced combat in this game was prior to the introduction of shield cell banks. If they wanted to go back and just completely strip out shield cell banks, I would be more than happy. I think that's when the best, most balanced combat was in this game. New content and features, non-Horizons, and I apologize if I have to mute the mic because I've got a cough or blow my nose or something like that. Rebuy penalty, yeah, okay, so if you commit the murder of another player, commander, PvP only, the additional cost, so if you kill somebody in your cutter, then it's going to cost you the rebuy of a cutter whenever you finally do die because of that. Pilots Federation bounty, when a player commits a crime of murder against another player, they'll receive an additional Pilots Federation bounty. This bounty is valid in every jurisdiction except for anarchies. Okay. Gives additional purpose for that being there. Inbox revamp. This is mainly visual. You'll be able to sort through various messages and things like that. A little bit of a new look. Well, that's great. New chained missions, which will be longer than 2 steps. Again, this is building upon what was there before. And I'm really kind of interested to see where this possibly could be going in 2.4 or beyond 2.4. If there can be longer than 2 steps, and let's say you can start building them into mission chains of 5 or 6 or 7, then you can start to create many narrative stories that the player can engage in with maybe some sort of big bad boss at the end and make it a little bit more raid style, with the exception of we still need a way to be able to share those missions with other players in order to group up and to do them, I think, to make them truly enjoyable. I tell you, if they added something like that, I know quite a few people who would come back to the game, because yes, while you're grinding doing these missions, essentially the Elite Dangerous equivalent of dungeon raids, those could be fun and exciting to do. So that would be something that would be very interesting to see if that comes in down the line and what could be going on there. So I'm glad to see that. Hull repair canopy limpet controllers now available, okay, of course, for the hull repair limpets. Preview game extras and outfitting. You'll now be able to preview paint jobs and other game extras before purchase. Fantastic addition. This should have been there a long time ago. Great. I love to be able to see what I'm buying before I buy it. I love that. Stored ships can now be sold from the rebuy screen to cover rebuy costs. So if you don't have enough money but you have ship assets lying around, you're going to have to liquidate those assets to cover. So if you kill somebody in a cutter and you have a 40 million credit rebuy, or because of that penalty, and then you switch out to a Sidewinder because you only have 20 million credits, well, the next time you go to the screen, you're still going to have to liquidate ships until you can cover that 40 million credit rebuy. I like that. Additional NPC stations added to Colonia. Oh, route plotting. Maximum route plotting range is now 20,000 light years. Wow, that means that you could plot from the bubble to Beagle Point and only have to visit the galaxy menu 3 times. So if you're doing long-range passenger missions and stuff like that, that's going to be very, very, very useful. It's going to minimize, I think, time. There's now an option to display to make use of neutron star boost in plotting routes. Icon displayed on the route is the last scoopable star before. Oh, okay, this is great. An icon is now just... Wow, this is a fantastic changes, especially for explorers out there. If anybody wants to complain about this, you're an idiot. This is all very great quality of life, incremental improvements. I fully support anything here that I've seen thus far. Additional NPC stations added to support infrastructure and trade routes in Colonia. Again, I wish that the background simulation could be improved to build out the support infrastructure and things like that for Colonia based on player actions or lack of actions. But, you know, I guess it is what it is for right now. Star systems renamed in Colonia based on migration winners and new NPC locations. Additional space stations added to the Pleiades region to support civilian expansion narrative. Okay. Mysterious locations added we're not going to tell you about. Added search and rescue contacts to stations across the galaxy. New and improved salvage scenarios added to support search and rescue gameplay. So I guess that's USSs and probably missions, hopefully missions. Made salvage commodities legal to pick up from wreck sites. Will appear illegal if dropped by ships that are not salvaged. So if you go pew-pew and kill somebody that wasn't wanted, or maybe even if you kill somebody who was wanted, it may not necessarily come on. And again, going over this as the files upgrade in the background. Fixed a responsiveness issue, or fixes and improvements. Audio collision refactor. We made trigger audio on collisions different now. Should sound the same as before. Okay, I'm not sure. Music system is completely replaced. Existing music should behave exactly as before. It is now much more maintainable and enjoyable to use. So I'm guessing that this is just behind the scenes engine. Radio chatter. The radio chatter system works differently under the hood now, enable us to do more, or to do cool magic chatter based things in the future. Existing chatter lines should function the same as before around starports and planet ports. So it looks like that this is going to be the outlines of improvements for 3.0. That should probably start to bring in more voice acting, hopefully, and making the galaxy. It was amazing when they added the voice flight controllers around stations, how much more alive that made the game feel. This system also works differently now and should be more flexible to pave the way for future awesomes. Again, the player experience should be the same as before for now. So this looks like this is stuff that they're going to be using as building blocks towards the future. That's very interesting, and I'm glad to see that. And it looks like we're going to start getting a lot more audio in terms of voiceovers and stuff like that. Controlled fixed a responsive issue that could occur when using the D-pad of a controller on the galaxy map. Fixed an issue where driving mode switches were not bound on the classic context control preset. Okay. Encourage factions not to expand into star systems that require permits. Okay, so that's kind of behind the thing. Restored missing descriptions for GU-97 Taipan. I wonder if they fixed the wrong audio cues for launching fighters. Galaxy map. Updated some textures in the system map to reduce memory usage without reducing the quality. Fixed an issue where you'd get a failed message by when plotting an economical route. Fixed an issue with how the Gemini constellation was being drawn on the galaxy map. Corrected an issue. So these are just more fixes. Fixed date timestamps on inbox messages, various text fixes, various localization fixes. Escape key will no longer exit the Hollow Me system. Fixed a rendering issue where Commander's hair overlaid certain environmental fog effects. Missions added distance from star system entry to mission destinations. Finally, that's a good change. So now no longer, oh, let me take this this mission to another system, and it's 400,000 light seconds from the star. Shut kills and actions to complete planetary hack and disable missions will now only contribute to a single mission. This will be the earliest mission accepted. Okay, so now brighter selection of missions on a single board. So that probably means Quince is dead. Refactor mission selection to promote a better spread of mission across factions. Refactored mission selection to heavily promote selection of conflict missions for both sides involved. To more reliably generate permit, engineer, and rank missions at eligible stations. Slightly rebalance micro-resource reward selection probabilities. Add an inbox messenger when passengers alight from the ship. Follow-on missions can include more data about previous missions in the chain. It says here, fixed message when trying to accept missions and past the mission limit no longer says of this type. Okay. Where forgetful military NPCs could sometimes have left their weapons at home. Okay. Shooting a capital ship in a scenario where they are the bad guys no longer lands you with a bounty on your head. That's good. Trigger-happy NPCs will now only shoot missiles once the target's shields have dropped. Why shouldn't they fire missiles if they're trigger-happy when your shields are up? Fix the falling skimmer issue that would occur on planet surfaces. Fix for capital ship movement issues. I saw this at the capital ship that's above the Palin station. It was all flipping about the last time I was there. Added luminosity property to scan event for star. Added mission redirected event, search and rescue event. So I guess that's the player journal. Which there are some third-party tools out there that give you information about a star's luminosity whenever you scan it. Fixed an OSX specific issue. I don't know how much longer we're going to see support for OSX, to be frankly honest, since they switched to metal. Again, that was beyond the control of Frontier. I don't necessarily fault them for not being able to bring out Horizons necessarily, due to the fact that that was on them. Fix a cause of sword ships shown on the galaxy map but were inaccessible from the shipyards. I haven't seen that one. Fix a transaction error when transferring cargo stolen. Didn't expense that one. Wrong language. Ships. Anaconda. Fixed some of the livery when an engineer modifies shield generators equipped. Fixed level of detail issues with the paint jobs. Tidied up some textures. Diamondback fixed some liven or LOD issues. Dolphin texture, eagle texture, adjusted lighting in the livery screen. Made some adjustments so that the bumper ship kit works better with paint jobs. Fixed some other stuff. It looks like this is just mainly all of that. SRV. Added a text overlay issue. Stability crashes. Fixed a memory leak. VR, we've disabled the bloom effect when using VR graphical presets by default, as it could be a bit hard on the eyes. No, J.J. Abrams, we've made some improvements to the animation on Railgun. Okay, so from what I'm seeing here, the big takeaways are the new crafting that we know about. I mean, without minus the story narrative things that they've added but not telling us about. I don't see anything here that I really have any problems with. A lot of it seems to be more quality of life things. We've seen the first implementations of a new crime and punishment system. We'll have to see how that actually works out. I'm not sure. And hello there, Samuel Glavio, and Antwertable. Yeah, I just kind of go back for those who missed the beginning of the stream here. The Hollow Me save slots, that sounds cool because there are a couple of different character designs I would like to alternate between. But it's just one of those things that I don't feel like spending a half an hour retweaking one over the other every time. Slots for eyewear and outfits, so that's going to be probably more stuff to buy down the line as far as cosmetics go. And again, I don't mind them supporting it with microtransaction-based cosmetics. I just wish that they would give players one or two options to earn in the game by completing missions, you know, like a chain of missions, or doing activities like CQC. Little things like that, you know, maybe it's only 2 or 3 options from those ways of earning it in-game, and you have 10 different options you can buy. That would be fine, but give the players something to work towards in-game and spend their in-game credits on. Synthesis can now create heat sinks, chaff, limpets, and other top-off life support. I like this because I have no idea how many times it's been that I've loaded up with limpets for something, usually mining, which has been a while, and then leave the station and forgot to have actually equipped any limpets. So it'll be nice to go manufacture those if you forget, or if you run out. I don't know about the top-off life support thing. I still think that there should be something there. Galileo, okay. Synthesis, and then additional planetary bases and the colonial for regional migration winners, okay. 12 new hairstyles, that's okay. And then they started with the new content for the new crime and punishment system. We're going to see how well this actually works. I mean, frankly, I don't know. Most of the people who are in PvP are doing so in ships that are moderately priced. Federal assault ships, clippers, things of that nature. FDLs, that rebuys are between 2 and 5 million credits. So, again, I think for a lot of the people who are out there like me that have 500 million credits just in free credits in addition to all the ships they own, this isn't going to really, I think, discourage behaviors. The updated route plotting system out to 20,000 explorers and long-haul passenger haulers rejoice. Route plotting is much faster, and you can automatically tell it to go find me neutron stars to boost. And also, an icon will display to tell you when the last scoopable star before running out of fuel. All of those are fantastic additions. They're all quality of life improvements, though. It's not like it fundamentally changes that there's more to do as a explorer out there, but it should certainly make life easier. Where are we on? About halfway. And it looks like there's some under-the-hood improvements to the audio system that could be coming into more of a factor later on with more voiceover work and stuff like that sometime in the future. No, it's not going to be effective for the murder hobo problem. I can tell you that right now. Because, again, the ships the murder hobos are using are relatively inexpensive. And just spending a couple of hours, usually at a community goal every week, especially a combat community goal, would be enough to outset probably most from losses. The only thing that's going to deter players from the murder hobo problem is to really ramp up the penalties. The first being, if you have a Pilots Federation bounty on your head, you can't dock at Jameson Memorial. Not only that, but any ships that you have docked at a Pilots Federation station automatically become impounded, where the only things you can do is remotely sell those ships to maybe cover a rebuy. Maybe not even then, until you pay off your Pilots Federation bounty somehow, or basically you die, you're stuck in the ship that you have. And then also removing the ability to dock at first, as soon as you get any bounty, whether it's 500 credits or 5 million credits on your head, you automatically lose access to Jameson Memorial. Meaning that then if you do want to switch out gear and stuff like that, but they should have to have their modules and stuff like that impounded. And then as that bounty increases, let's say if they get above a 500,000 or 1 million credit bounty on their head, then they start to lose their insurance, or maybe they start to lose it at 500,000 or 50,000 or 100,000. I don't know where those numbers need to be, but eventually they need to start losing their insurance to where their rebuy costs go up and up and up the more crimes they commit, to the point where basically if they lose their ship, that ship cannot be repurchased, and most importantly, neither can the modules that were on that ship. So they lose their ship, they also lose all of the engineering that went into that ship and the time behind that. I think that only until you get to that point, the murder hobo problem won't be solved. I don't know in VLC Player why there would be an audio problem. I have the sound turned up on the mic itself, in the recording software I have that turned up as well. I guess I could see that's the audio playback device. I mean, I could see. Where do they move microphones to? Okay, recording devices. Yeah, I mean, I can do that, but that's about it. I don't know why there would be any other audio problems out there. But yeah, this isn't enough. There has to be some actual in-game consequences to their actions, and this isn't enough. It's a small step. It's a good small step, but it's not going to be enough. And especially when you had things like Quints. Now, reading through some of the other fixes and improvements, it looks like Quints could very much be nuked after this, with the way that their mission selection, wider selection of missions on a single board, that tends to tell me it's not going to generate, 15 scan the planet missions now in places like Quints. So it's one of those things, if you need extra credits, go to Quints, get it done now, because in a few weeks it probably won't be there anymore, which might not be a bad idea. I may in the live game head back there for a couple more weeks, build up a few 100 million more credits, because I think I want to be at about 1.2 billion free credits, and then I should be good that even if I take extended periods of time off, and next year that could very well be several months at the beginning of the year, that just won't have time. We could see significantly improved mission board loading times, especially for those in high latency networks. Optimized how the data cache for secondary sites is stored and requested. Okay. And everything else looks to be relatively minor, other than the story narrative things, which is the we added secret stuff that we won't tell you about. It was somewhere around here. Mysterious locations added that we're not going to tell you about. That was the one. And then they added Salvage as well. So I'm not sure, again, where... I guess I could. Let's see here. I think I can pop out the chat. Do that so people have a record of what was going on the chat here. But I don't know if there's any other questions out there regarding free community decal. Accept and take part in the community goal in the beta servers to be eligible for the free decal. It's that simple. So I don't know if they've updated anything here as I take a swig of coffee here. Second cup of the day. And I had trouble getting started this morning. So yeah, now I'm about halfway through. So I think since it's going to be, it says an hour here, there's not much more to talk about as far as the list of things right now. The rest of stuff looked like it was just primarily bug fixes. This audio system updates looks very interesting for the future, beyond 2.4, but we'll have to see what they make of that. And then the chain missions also, the revamped chained missions. I guess we're going to get in and have to check out some missions, but it's going to be an hour, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and end this live stream, go grab something for lunch, and I will be back once the update finishes downloading and be playing some 2.4 beta. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in a bit.